What's going on, everyone? My name is Andy and welcome to another FPL video. Today we're just doing a quick Game Week 12 review, a little bit of a look ahead to Game Week 13. We're going to touch on a few points for that, but generally it's just a look back at Game Week 12. So I got 61 points altogether, a pretty solid score going into the national break. It did mean a green arrow. I went up 979 places. Yes, I did work it out. So I'm into the top 7.5k now, so I'm not too far off my best rank ever. Not getting too ahead of myself because ranks can fall pretty quick at this stage, especially being this high up. Obviously, a lot of people chasing and stuff like that, but solid score going into the national break. Looking at kind of who did the business for me, Aguero 7 points, obviously a home goal against Man United. I think that's the first time he's outscored Salah, Sterling even, when they've been playing together. So that was kind of nice, but not nice for Man United to lose. But we won't dwell on that too much. Alexander-Arnold was a little bit worried about whether he would play or not. Obviously, I had him in my team. I had to play him against Fulham. I was never going to transfer him for that fixture. So he popped up with an assist and 2 bonus points. Unfortunately, Robertson got the full amount of bonus, but considering Alexander-Arnold is a full million, maybe even 1.4 million cheaper at this stage, I was really happy with that 11 points. So that was nice. Mendy, no clean sheet against Man United. I mean, when I was watching the game, I was quite happy that we scored, but obviously, considering they won anyway, it would have probably been a little bit nicer if they kept the clean sheet. But won't begrudge Martial getting a penalty, which we will talk about soon. And then Alonso, not done or not got too many attacking returns recently, but again, popping up with a clean sheet and 2 bonus points. So he's definitely going to stay on my side for now. My transfer was Dean Garner in. So I got rid of Madison, who was injured, but I did think about keeping him and playing Doherty. That would have basically got me no extra points, but I would have had an extra transfer. Was Dean Garner a mistake? I'm not sure it was. I basically got him in under the principle that, yes, he may not continue to be this superstar we're hoping he will be. Obviously, he hadn't really shown too much, only a couple of games. But we're hoping that he would keep his start at 4.5 million. He could potentially get a good few points over West Ham's run of games. That might still happen, but it got me a little bit worried that he came off at half-time when they were chasing the game. Obviously, Pellegrini just thought there was a better way to go about it, and they did end up nicking the draw. So that could be a little bit of a worry for him. But my main thing to get him for was that I can potentially swap over my 4.5 million bench fodder players. So eventually Ward could go, Danny Ward for Cardiff. Doesn't look like he's necessarily going to get his place back. Didn't come off the bench in the last game, so I may upgrade him and just basically demote, I suppose you could say, Dean Garner to 5th mid. I was never expecting to have him as my 4th mid, and I might not even play him next week. So yeah, that was my transfer in. Didn't get many points, but we move on. 2.4 million in the bank, so a little bit of flexibility there. Richarlison didn't come good, but it was Chelsea, probably to be expected. A little bit of an injury there, which we'll talk about in a minute. I'm not going to worry about that too much. Salah, again, who I want to talk about in a minute. 8 points. I mean, yes, would have hoped for more against Fulham. No bonus points again, but I mean, I don't really get worked up about that. We know that's the case with Salah because of the way he plays. He's not prone to getting bonus points because of the way the system works. Whether that's good or bad or whether it should be changed or not is a definitely more lengthy discussion for another video, not this one. But 8 points, my highest scorer behind, or second highest scorer behind Trent, obviously equalled Alonso as well. So I'm not going to be too concerned about that. I had him for this run of 4 fixtures where they had a Huddersfield, Cardiff and Fulham. I banged on it about enough. If you've watched these videos, you would have seen me talk about that a lot. And I got him in for consistency at captain. He returned in all 3 of the easy games, only blanked against Arsenal, as you expect more times than not. So yeah, can't complain about Salah apart from his 13 million, but you pay a price sometimes for that. And Antovic obviously did nothing for West Ham. It was a bit frustrating because you thought that Huddersfield was a good game, even though Huddersfield pretty solid at home against, one call West Ham a weaker team, but they're not a top 6 team. So Huddersfield not looking too bad on that front. And then Jimenez, who I was looking at getting rid of, thought I'd save for Huddersfield Cardiff, thought if he gets any points against Arsenal and Spurs, I'll be happy with anything. It'll be a bonus, so to speak. And he's got 18 points, so he's averaged 9 points per game against Arsenal and Spurs, which is a bit ridiculous. Probably end up getting nothing against Huddersfield Cardiff. But I did speak about him on the last preview, saying that he probably could be your Mitrovic replacement, just given he's been pretty good form most of the season. If you actually look at his returns, I know it's a lot of assists. It would be much nicer if we could get some goals and get some bonus points as well. But he got an assist and did get 1 bonus point this week. So I think he's a good option. So going forward, Huddersfield and Cardiff, 5.7 I think he is, maybe 5.8 million now. I think he's my 3rd striker. I'm really happy with it. I think he looks good when you watch him play. You know, he's not going to get double-figure hauls every week, of course, but I think he looks dangerous enough. And Wall's pretty attacking side. overall a decent enough side, mid-table side, however you want to call them. So yeah, loving him right now. Didn't play Doherty. That Arsenal goal got me that 1,000-point rank. I was checking my live rank as the game went on, and it was looking like a very, very small green arrow until that Arsenal goal went in. So I was quite happy about that because obviously I had him on my bench, but Doherty definitely playing the next two. No way I want to bench him. He's so attacking. So that was my week. Let's talk about a few points that I wanted to go through that people kind of brought up as well. What to do with Mendy. So yes, his attacking returns have dried up a little bit. He was going forward against Man United, did put in a few balls, but wasn't too much quality to them. But you'd expect that against Man United, no matter how bad they've been. That's always going to be a tough game for Man City, and they still strolled it 3-1. But you'd expect Mendy to be a little bit less attacking. I'm probably going to keep him for now, although fixture-wise, there's a few away games. West Ham, Watford and Chelsea are all away games in the next four, with only Bournemouth at home. But the amount of goals City concede is not very much. They get so much of the ball in these games, even away from home. I see clean sheets. So I'm not in a rush to get rid of him, but I have looked at potentially doing him to Digne at Everton, and then maybe upgrading Ward to Martial. So that is a potential option. So I'm looking at getting rid of him, or at least considering it, but I don't think I will do it. Is Salah too expensive? I mean, I could talk about this for a whole video. Look, I think the expectations of him are probably a little bit too high. I get that he's 13 million, but if he scored the kind of points, or if Kane had scored the kind of points that he is right now, or even Aguero back when they were 13 million, I don't think we'd be complaining. The problem is the bonus points. I mean, that gets on a lot of people's nerves, but if you think about it, he got 1 goal, no bonus, and a clean sheet against Fulham, so 8 points. Did we want more against Fulham? Yeah, of course we did. It was a home match. But again, like I already said, I got him in for 4 fixtures where he got 33 points in total. I was never going to captain him against Arsenal. I knew that was always going to be a difficult fixture. So his points for me, he's really helped me on captaincy. I've had good weeks. I've had 11k game week rank in those 4 weeks. So I can't complain about that. Did I want more against Fulham? Yeah, of course I did. I always want more. I think 8 is a solid score for a captain. Of course you want to hit the double figures. But I'm never going to complain if my captain gets 8. So if that was Aguero and he scored and got 2 bonus points, we'd probably be happy with that. Yes, he got a goal, great. Yes, he got some bonus. That takes him to 8 points, whereas Salah doesn't need bonus to get to that 8 points. So obviously the counter argument is that Aguero, Sterling and Hazard, they're not 13 million, so and they've probably got more double figure hauls. Even Martial's got 3 in a very short space of time. So I do get that frustration. So is he worth it going forward? Look, I think Sterling could match him and probably will going forward, especially with the fixtures. Man City's are pretty good. Liverpool's are okay. Again, a lot of away games, Watford, Burnley and Bournemouth in the next 4, but they're all winnable fixtures. So is the Everton one. They're against teams you think he could score at, potentially on penalties as well if Milner's off the pitch. So I'm looking at keeping, but it's not for anything more than I'm just never going to be in a rush to get rid of Salah with those fixtures. Like I will captain him probably in 2 or 3 of those fixtures, not in game week 14 because Hazard has Fulham at home. So you'd expect him to do more than Salah did. And like his away record so far has not been great. I think he hasn't scored outside of Huddersfield, but he got 2 assists against Palace, and his blanks have been against Leicester, Spurs, Chelsea, and Arsenal. So apart from the Leicester one, they've been tricky fixtures. And even in that Leicester game, he had a great chance, which he did miss, of course, which is no good for our points. But he was getting those kind of chances that I'm happy going forward. And if you look ahead to the fixtures that are coming up, the away games are easier. So if he's still blanking, then fair enough. But a bit like Aguero, I think their away records are poorer because of the teams they face, whereas they're coming up now against weaker teams in those away games, and I think we'll somehow see the form start to come back for those players, for Aguero and Salah, just because of the fixtures that are coming up for him. So I'm not looking at getting rid necessarily this week. I will look at Sterling longer term. Obviously, I've already got Hazard. People talking about getting Mane. I've got no interest in getting Mane at all. I think he's only returned points in 4 games this season out of 11 or 11 or 12. I can't remember exactly how many he's played. Now, he did get double figure hauls, I think, in all of those, which is great. So he has kept up with Salah-ish over the course of the season. But, Liverpool's fixtures get a bit tougher after those next 4. So I'm not going to look to switch Salah to Mane. If I make that switch, it'll almost certainly be to someone like David Silva or Raheem Sterling would be my pick. I suppose the short thing with Salah is 13 million. Is he worth it in terms of what other players are matching? I guess not. Sterling is keeping up with him for a lot less money, and his fixtures are good, and you'd expect him to play most games. But I think if you ask most people, they'd be pretty certain that Salah's going to start week to week. I think even Sterling owners currently are always worried week to week whether he will or won't start. Now, of course, he could come on and get the points. He could make up with that lack of game, getting more points in the games he does play in. Man City scoring goals for fun. I think they're averaging 3 goals a game. Liverpool not quite looking at the kind of same pace of goals as they were last year, which is a little bit of a worry as well. But for me, he's just so consistent. He's pretty much scored in every game that's not against the top 6 team. That's who he has coming up in the next 4 fixtures. I'm confident enough to captain him. Did he look great against Fulham? No, he's still got his goal and put it away pretty nicely, to be fair, on a nice break. So, yeah, I do think the bonus is a concern, but like I said, if you had a striker and he scored and got 2 bonus, you'd probably be happy. So can you be unhappy when Salah gets 8 with no bonus? I'm not sure you can. Obviously, as a midfielder, he always has that clean sheet to mop up. But again, granted, players like Sterling and Salah will get Hazard and Sterling will get bonus. And they're less money. So for me, I'm holding Salah for now, but I don't think I'll necessarily have him all the way over Christmas. But as always with FPL, you just got to wait and see what happens. So many other things can play a part that, like I said, I'm not going to be in a rush to get rid of him. If there's other fires to put out, I'll go with them first, unless I need a lot of money, in which case he can unlock it. International injuries, I'm not even going to talk about all the yellow flags. It's harder to find a player that's not injured than one that is at the moment. I would honestly just wait for the press conferences before the start of the next game week. You'll get a clear indication of where they're ready, hopefully. Obviously, if you're really stuck for cash and there's a move you really want to make but you're not sure, I would honestly try and wait. It's much better to have that info than not. So yeah, there's lots of international break injuries happening. Martial, I wanted to talk about him because he scored 6 goals in the last 5. People looking at bringing him in. There's a bit of a gambler's fallacy going on that because he scored 6 goals in 5 games, can he keep that up? If I bring him in, will this be the week that he blanks? But I think you've just got to take it as he's a man in form. Playing for Man United, yes, okay, they've not been great this year, but it doesn't look like he's going to lose his place anytime soon. He's kind of won it. Mourinho trusts him for now. He's playing well, scoring goals. I don't think they can take him out. He could be on penalties as well. I know he took the last one when Pogba wasn't on the pitch. But even when Pogba's on, he's missed a couple now. So Martial could keep them. And then outside of Arsenal and Liverpool in the next, kind of all the way up until the new year, there's Palace, I think it's Palace, Southampton, Fulham, Cardiff, Huddersfield and Bournemouth. Now, will he play every single one of those games? Maybe he'll miss 1, maybe 2 if you're really unlucky. But that's a good set of fixtures. A player in form who will continue, I think, to score goals. Don't get him in expecting him to score every game going forward for the kind of next 6 to 8. But when you factor in assists and stuff like that as well, I think he can keep up a decent amount of points, at least for his price of 7.6 million. And just take a break. And this one is a bit maybe not something I should be saying when I'm trying to get you to watch FPL videos, and there's loads of other content to watch as well. But I know people hate the international breaks. There's no games to look forward to. But just try and take a break from FPL. It's an enforced break. Just make the most of it. Don't stress too much about transfers and stuff. All your plans will still be there just before the game week starts up again. You've probably already got a bunch of plans from the other game, from the previous game weeks as well. So if you've been thinking about your transfers ahead, you kind of probably already know what you're doing. If you're waiting on injuries and stuff, just wait. There's nothing you can do to affect it. So try and have a good time over the international break. I'll be back with a preview next week as normal, probably on Tuesday or Wednesday, looking more ahead to Game Week 13, hopefully getting some more info from the international break and stuff like that. Otherwise, this video has definitely been too long. I do apologise. Let me know if you've got any questions going forward for kind of the preview in Game Week 13. Otherwise, yeah, I'll leave it there. Like, comment, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Enjoy your international break. Don't panic too much about FPL. It will be back. Cheers all.